Welcome to Infinite Think, your resource for success and happiness. I'm one of your hosts, Kenya Cook.
And I'm Richard Roundtree. I just want to thank all you guys for following us on Instagram at Infinite Think and also Facebook, and just being in this space as we share our thoughts and try to bring guests to you to help serve you so you can become the greatest version of yourself.
That is awesome. That's what we're here to serve you. Hey, Richard, you're always positive and have a fresh perspective on life. I noticed this week on your Instagram, you were talking about facing your fears. Brother, enlighten us on that.
Well, facing your fears, I think the only way in life to grow is to really face your fears, face your challenges, because of the fact that life is always changing. So you can live in this comfortable lane or drive in this comfortable be in this comfortable place, but for only so long. But then life is going to make you change, or you're going to stop growing. And I think that's the whole nature of life, is to keep on growing until we go on to the next plane of reality. So you got to change if you want to grow. And the only way you got to face your challenges if you really want to grow, and that's going to help you deal with the changing world that we live in.
This is true. Well, hey, I just want to tell our listeners, please go check out Limitless Strength on both Instagram as well as Facebook, so you can catch Richard's updates throughout the week. They've been very inspirational to me. I try to repost them as much as possible so people can be blessed the way I'm blessed by it, Richard. And I want to say thank you again for being an excellent leader in your role, because it is making a difference in my own life as I face my own fears. So I honor you, my brother. I honor you.
No, I honor you. I read your morning meditations every day.
Hey, we got to keep serving. You know what? Last time we were together, we had an awesome conversation with David Greenwood, one of the executive directors over at Detroit Police Athletic League. And I took away something that David's mentor told him about thinking about what you think about. Our topic was the end game, and I started to put that in perspective of what I'm thinking about. Is it moving me towards my goal? What I'm thinking about, is it keeping me positive, upbeat, and optimistic about me conquering whatever fears or challenges or obstacles that are in my way to reach that goal? So as I become more conscious of my thinking, I want that to kind of keep me motivated as well and use my mind to help boost me.
Yeah, I think it's so important to be mindful of your thoughts, because in reality, your thoughts become your reality. I mean, I know this sounds a little hippy dippy, but if you believe in the laws of attraction, what you think, you become, or what you attract. So you got to be mindful of your thoughts, especially when you're trying to strategize where you want to go and how you want to go and what you want to do in life. And if your thoughts are negative, you're not gonna go anywhere positive, or odds are you're not gonna go anywhere positive. So at least that's my thought on it. So. Yeah. But another thing I took away from David Greenwood is that when he was talking about his life, a lot of times he didn't know exactly where he was going, even though we were talking about the end game. But he always had vision about the direction that he wanted to go in, and I think that was a very important takeaway of being, but not so like rigid on this is exactly where I need to be, but just have a vision in the direction where you want to go in life.
Yeah. And that flexibility, that adaptability, I think that keeps you alive inside of your journey so that you're still being led. Someone in one of the comments has said, hey, well, if I begin with the end in the mind, I'm not giving the universe space to guide me and direct me. So, I think that's an important point that you brought up, that David brought out, was no, it doesn't necessarily mean that you can't flow within the moment, but you have to have a roadmap or a guideline of where you want to go.
Yeah, well, great musicians. I know you're a wonderful musician, Kenya, and you should check out his music, guys. His music is amazing. But great musicians always read off the sheet, but they find the improvisation and the beauty and the art between the notes. So
Right.
so it's good to have a direction. It's good to have a blueprint of where you want to go, but the real art, the real flow of life are in between the notes and in between the plans. So at least that's my takeaway.
I love it. That is dope. That is dope. Well, without further ado, it is with my great honor and my pleasure to introduce our next guest. She's a mother of three. She's a philanthropist. She works with local charities raising money. She's an international missionary, none other than Miss Vaquita Taylor. Welcome to Infinite Think.
Woo! Yeah.
Woo!
Awesome, awesome. Thank you guys for having me.
Well, you know,
It's a pleasure.
it's a pleasure. Yes.
Well, our topic this week is going to be about prioritizing. Prioritizing daily and how important it is. We've been following the 7 Habits of Highly Effective People by Stephen Covey, and now we're talking about how do I set my day up? What do I need to do to get myself going so that I'm attacking the best things or the things that are going to bring the most value?
Yeah. I mean, prioritizing things in life is so important. You know, I deal with a lot of my students and whatnot. And they say they don't have time for this, they don't have time for that. But if you don't set like the most important things high on your priority list, I mean, you're not going to be in a good position to succeed. So, like, you know, for me, my health is most important, and my family is my the second most important. So, and friends, well, I don't have a distinction between family and friends. All my friends are my family. But so for me, it's important for me to exercise daily, meditate daily, take time to call my friends and call my mother. You know, these are the things that I put high on the priority list. So,
Very good.
you know, so that's my own personal story. And then from there, everything else can flow well if I got my home base taken care of. My health, which is also a spiritual practice, also with my meditation and yoga, and my family and friends.
Very nice, very nice. Now I'm not that organized, so today I'm here to learn, and
Mhm.
I figured that Q, Vaquita, we're gonna call her Q. She
Mhm.
manages a lot from it sounds like personal life, professional life. So I'm just want to absorb and just soak up. Q, how do you set the order of your day? How do you determine what's important? Walk us through how you set your day up.
Well, the most important thing is prayer. Um, Prayer, communing with God, and allowing Him to go before you even take your first step, before you even get out of the bed, brushing your teeth before you even talk to Him, but making Him a priority. Um, I'm reminded of 1 Thessalonians 17. It say, pray without ceasing. So that means nonstop. When I think about Psalm 63:1, it's seek God early. So we want to get our rest, or we want to get up right before it's time for us to go to work or to handle our business. But it's important to make that a job. For me, it's important to take that time to set it aside and to go before Father God, go before your creator, go before God and say, whatever you will have for me to do today, I'm open to it. Um, Divine connections. Every day, if you're not in the right headspace, he may have someone to cross your path for you or you for them. And if you're not in the right headspace, you can miss that opportunity. So I make sure I take the time and pray. I don't care what I do. I anoint myself. I go before God. I pray all day. Like I can be at the stoplight and I'm like, oh God, thank you. It's so many things to be thankful and grateful for. And so that's the number one thing. Prayer. Praying without stopping. Even when you start in the morning, you go throughout your day with good positive thoughts, good energy, because whatever we give out, most of the time is what we're going to give back. And people don't understand that because we like to point the finger and blame other people. But when you point the finger, you got three actually pointing back at you. So if you go in a room, because my belief is I can change the atmosphere with my energy. So if you go in a room and you looking at everybody like, why they looking at me? Why they, that's your energy. Because sometimes we put off on other people what we're really feeling. And so it's important to make sure you bring all of that into account when you start your day. What am I feeling? And making sure I'm not bringing on what happened yesterday on today because it's a whole nother day with a whole new set of energy. So it's important to make sure yesterday took care of itself and today you're in a new space.
Mm. Okay, so who are the other two people that's pointing the finger at you? You said three people are pointing the finger at you.
No, I said you're pointing the finger, but you got three fingers pointing back at you.
Oh, I see. I like that. I like that. Yeah,
You
that's
doing
very.
like this?
It's very deep.
But
So
you got
you're
three
pretty
of
much
them.
saying everything is a mirror of you.
Absolutely.
But
What you what you
it's actually a magnified mirror that's 3 times greater. So
And
if
that's
you
why
put out
we should want for our brother what we want for ourselves. That's
God,
why God is saying, love your neighbor as yourself. That's not there for
exactly,
no reason. We love
exactly.
you. I love you. I want you to succeed. I want you to live. I want you to do good. And me pouring that off into you, I want to receive that. But
Hmm.
if I'm wishing bad on you, if I'm thinking bad thoughts about you, that's what I'm kind of wishing for myself. So it's very important just to make sure, we walk around like this all the time. It's your fault. It's your fault. It's your fault. It's my mama's fault. It's my daddy's fault. It's his fault. It's her fault. But if you don't take self accountability, none of it even matters. Self accountability is huge. And that's another thing. Bringing that forth throughout the day. Lord, let what's in me shine, because ultimately we want to be used. We want for God to use us. And so when we move ourselves out the way, when we spend that time and we're quiet, not on Facebook, not checking emails, not checking messages when you first get up, but taking that time just to sit, even if you don't say a word, you sit in silence and you get the download. You won't get the download if your mind is thinking about 15 other things. So we have to sit quietly. We have to take that time and allow God to go before our day. And all we got to do is follow.
I love that because that's what I do first thing in the morning. I try to become one with God. Just really
Yeah.
just like you said, get the downloads. That's more important. But another thing that you said I thought that's really deep is always be a person at prayer. It's not like okay, I meditate for 20 minutes in the morning, or I do my prayer for 20 minutes in the morning, or I go to church on Sunday for 2 hours.
Yeah.
Uh, but what about the other 23 hours of the day? You should always
Yes.
be in prayer. You should always be in appreciation because that is the
Yes.
highest form of prayer is appreciating and being grateful, in my opinion.
Grateful. I actually have that on my wall.
Mhm.
I'm
Great.
available to more good than I've ever imagined, realized, or experienced in my life. I'm
Mhm.
grateful and I'm forgiven. And when we
Forget.
understand that, some of the things that we carry, we won't carry no longer because we understand God has already forgiven us. There's no such thing as I need to forgive myself because God has already forgiven us.
Hmm.
And so we're taking on more than we should. And I feel
Hmm.
like it's making people real heavy, real heavy. And so I challenge people to find things you're grateful for all the time. We can start with the small things. You have people that's using a pen with their mouth because they don't have hands.
Hmm.
They're using their hands for eyes because they don't have eyes. So it's so much to be grateful for, and it's so much to be thankful for. And so throughout the day, that's what I exude off of other people. When people complain first thing in the morning, oh, I'm ready for this day to get over with. Wait a minute, slow down, hold on. Let's enjoy this moment. I'm just you just here. What? So that's just me. I try to uplift everybody I'm around. I'm gonna grab your arm, I'm gonna pick you up, and I'm gonna meet you where you are. But we can't. I notice a lot of people get into the same flow. I'm tired. I'm tired too. What? No, no. That I change. You can change all of that energy. You can change all of it with just one word. Like, tell me something you're grateful for, and it changes your whole perspective. It changes
Yeah.
your whole mind frame. It
Yeah.
changes your very words.
Yeah.
I'm a big person on words. What we say.
Yep. Hmm.
What we say is huge.
Hmm. I agree. I think we should definitely be much more mindful with our words too. I mean, our words is nothing but a reflection of our thoughts. So, I mean, if you're mindful
Definitely.
of your thoughts, then your words will come out properly. And
And
the
out
only
of
way,
your heart,
what you
whatever's
say,
in your heart,
and
whatever's
whatever
in your heart
go
comes
up
out
to
of
your.
your mouth.
I like that. I love that. So I see the connection from your
I
heart to
love
your
it.
head to your mouth.
Yes.
Well, guys, it sounds like if I can just grab a couple points, it sounds like setting up your day. It starts with quieting your mind, spending some time with the Creator, showing appreciation and gratitude for your day, and being open to receive whatever instructions you may have as you start your day.
Absolutely.
Okay, now let's look at we've spent the time with the Creator. Now, how do you prioritize what your next steps are going to be, or what you're going to do for like the first half of your day?
So the first half of your day, if it's work, then that's what's on the agenda. But even throughout that time, prayer is still necessary. We're dealing with energy and we're dealing with things we cannot see. You're dealing with people that's all around you that have many issues that you may not know about. And so it's important to protect yourself. So you constantly you have to watch and pray. Watch and pray. So it's a constant thing. It's not just for the morning. You watch and pray. Giving yourself words of affirmation. That's huge. A to-do list. I personally make a to-do list because it helps me. And for people who visually like to see things, checking off things, it brings a sense of accomplishment. When you check it off and when you cross it out, oh, I need to make this phone call, and you make a phone call on your lunch. Oh, I need to do this when I get off, and you checking off and you checking off. That makes you feel productive. But if you allow your day just to have its way, then we're not giving our days direction. So it's
Yeah.
important to give your day direction. So I go to a to-do list. You write down different things you need to do, check them off. Grab a piece of paper or a planner. Have a planner. You can have a pocket size, put it in your purse, and whatever comes to your mind, whatever you need to do, you put it in your planner, and it helps you to be productive. So that helps as
I,
well.
I have a
You
quick
know what I
question.
found is that a to-do list is excellent and it works great for me, but it works even better for me when I do it the day before. For some strange reason, when I do my to-do list the night before or the day before, when I come into the day, I'm not as confused, I'm not as
Yeah.
cloudy, and I kind of, like you're saying, I'm being proactive. In our first episode with Diana Banu, we talked about being proactive. And what you're saying, Q, is that if you don't have a plan or structure for your day and using a to-do list, you become reactive.
Oh yeah, you'll be in circles. Like, oh, I need to do this, but oh, I need to do, and I do that sometimes, and I see it, and I'm like, sometimes you can get overwhelmed. Let's just be honest. Sometimes you can get overwhelmed with all of the stress or the to-dos and things to do. But as long as you do something,
Right.
as long as you crossing something off, you're being productive. But once you put everything to the side and just allow your day to be, we're not using it effectively. So again, it's hard, but it's discipline that needs to take place.
Mm, I love it. I'm just always going to go back to what you said about always be at prayer. I think that really hit home to me because, like, for me in my own spiritual practice, I'm learning this that because I'm very ambitious person, but just really trusting God. So I think
Yes,
this really and being appreciative of what I have right now.
yes.
I always think that's the highest form of prayer, just being appreciative, being grateful. And it really hit home for me. And I'm thank you for sharing that with me. I just had to put it out there.
That's
Yeah.
Well, you know what?
100%.
That goes right along. Q, I forgot the verse, but there's a verse that says, come into his presence with thanksgiving in your heart.
Yes, and yes, thanksgiving and praise.
Yeah.
Hmm.
And for the spirit of heaviness, we put on a garment of praise. So it's
Hmm.
telling us to be grateful, be thankful. Like, yes, I mean,
Yeah.
whatever, however, wow, whatever it is you want to say or do to
Hmm.
show that praise, God is saying when you're heavy on your heart, say something, do something, show that you're receptive to what's happening because everybody don't see the spiritual things that go on. Everybody is not focused. Everybody is not zoomed into that. And so that is why I feel like when you're awake and when you wake up in your spirit, you're supposed to nudge somebody, wake them up, wake them up, or just see them doing better. And I have an example. It was a lady at work, and she always walk around just looking mad, just mad all the time. And so this one day I said, God, I want to see. I'm gonna put this off on her, and I want to see it come to life. Like, cause sometimes you can test God at His word. He said it, it's true. So that's what I'm gonna do. Love your neighbor as yourself. So I looked at her and she was looking mad, and I said, I pray that whatever is heavy on her heart, that it loosens up. I pray that she finds joy in laughter and smiling. And I just send her all the good energy I have right now. In the next 30 minutes, this lady was smiling. She was talking to me. She don't even talk to me at all.
Yeah.
And she was talking and she was laughing and she's been talking to me ever since. And so that is how I know we have power in our prayer. We have power in our words. And it's important to want for your brother what you want for yourself. And I want joy and I want to be happy. It's no place being in darkness. And the darkness I feel like is coming from being on social media all the time because you're really lonely. People act
Mm-hmm.
like they're having so much fun, but you're really lonely. So it's
Mm-hmm.
good to have those face to face, that contact, that phone
Yeah.
call, hear somebody's voice or hugging somebody. That's important because we're hiding behind this thing and we're acting like, oh, life is grand. But then when you cut it off, who's there?
Exactly.
Especially if you don't have a relationship with God. Who's
Mm-hmm.
there?
Mm-hmm. No, that relationship with God, the trust in God is so important, and it's been so important for me over the last, in particular, the last year of my life, and I've grown so much just because of
Yes,
the fact that I just stop releasing a lot of that heaviness and just start
yes.
having more trust in God and always being a person in prayer and thanks and being grateful. So
Trust is important when you think about
mm-hmm,
fog.
mm-hmm,
And so I had a dream about a foggy road and my car was just flying. And I
mm-hmm,
just took my hands off the wheel and I'm like, oh my God. But I got through the fog and I looked over to the left and the right and it was cars and ditches.
mm-hmm,
And he took me right to where I needed to be at that moment. And so
yeah,
I think we all struggle with trusting God
mm-hmm,
because you got to take your hands off. And
yes,
you have to be low in order to
yeah,
come high. And
yeah,
the low place is where you find humility, but
mm-hmm.
a lot of people don't want that type of humbling.
No, they
So
don't.
trusting God is gonna be a little uncomfortable. But in the end, I feel like that's where the freedom is. Because you're
Yep.
not worried about yesterday and tomorrow. And right now, you're just moving forward and you're hopeful and you're excited about life and what God is doing. So trusting God is very important.
And that's important, like what you said, like you this like I was in like in my video cast this week I talked about facing your fears. A lot of people are afraid to face their fears because they may go to that low point and be humbled, but that's the only way to grow in life.
That's the only way.
That's the
Yes.
only way to grow. You got to be humble sometimes, like, but you can't just live on this like comfortable lane all the time
No.
and face the fear of rejection or just feeling flat on your face because that humbling is probably the biggest nugget of gold that you can possibly have. Bigger than
Yes,
bigger than even what you thought you were going to try to get if you were successful in this venture or whatnot. So
that is true.
I mean that humble pie is a true nugget, and
Yeah, it is.
a lot of people aren't grateful for it. But everything that happened bad to me, it became one of the biggest blessings in disguise.
Yes, I agree. I
Yeah.
concur. It,
Hmm.
it's
That's awesome.
you can find the good in it. And I feel like
Yeah.
once everybody gets to that place, like, okay, this happened for a reason, but what did I learn?
Hmm.
That's huge.
Yep.
Now,
Hmm.
guys, I want to bring this back home a little bit. If I'm hearing correctly, when we're talking about prioritizing our day, we're taking into account our inner voice conversation, our voice with our creator, and maintaining the right attitude and thinking throughout the day. That's a
Throughout,
big priority for setting that day up for success.
yes,
Yeah.
throughout the day.
Because
Yes,
I didn't want to get lost. Because some people, like I said, sometimes we can sound a little hippy dippy, but I want people to understand that it is important and critical that your mindset, your thinking, all that stuff has to be reined in and controlled because you hear so many voices that you can kind of get off track and it affects your attitudes because a part of our soul is our emotion. And if our
definitely.
thinking isn't right, our emotions can have us reacting inappropriately. Q, you gave the example of you going into an environment and why they looking at me, why we looking at me, instead of having that conversation in your head, turning it around to, hey, well, how are you? My name is Kenya, and I'm happy to be here
Yes,
today and meet you. That changes up the whole energy.
that changes it. That's it.
They're changing. Now, let's step back a little bit to that to-do list because I do want people to have something tangible as it relates to your strategies for building your to-do list. How do you make that to-do list?
Well, when you think about the things that you need to do for the week, me, I may have a client. I may have a track meet to go to with my children. Bible study, which is important. We go to Bible study on Wednesday, so you make sure you don't have anything during those times so that, you can be in character with your timing. So it just depends on your lifestyle and what's important and what time you're ending your day, like effectively ending your day. A lot of us go beyond our bedtime sometimes, and it messes up our day sometimes. So it's important to know when you're starting your day and when you're ending your day. Me, I start at 3:30 in the morning. I have to be to work at 5. So I need to make that time for prayer after I get up before I start getting in and moving and shaking and getting in the car. I need to have that time. When I get to work, 9 o'clock break, I take that time. I pray. 11 o'clock break, whatever phone calls I need to make, I make those calls. Like, I have to pick my children up. So those things are already set in stone. It's the things that you need to do throughout the week. Phone calls are really huge. When you're taking care of business, you're not able to go to every place, but you can make phone calls, you can send emails. So your list could just be send an email at this time, catch up with this person, call this person. Because all the time we say, oh man, I thought about this person, but then I forgot. Put that on your to-do list.
Mm-hmm.
Call this person and ask this question. Whatever it is that's coming through your mind, I think it's important to always have a small notebook because we're constantly getting downloads from the Spirit daily. And so it's good to have a notebook so you can be like, oh, because sometimes we're not going to remember. We're human. So you be like, oh man, what was that? When I wake up in the morning, I have dreams. I have a book right next to my bed and I get up. If I can't get to the book, I have a memo on my phone. So everything that you're getting, internalize it and bring it out so that it can be tangible. So that you can go back to your book and say, oh my God, I remember I dreamt about that. Or, oh, I remember I need to call this person. Or I need to make this phone call because we're missing deadlines and then life gets hectic. So having a to-do list, it just gives you a vision. Without a vision, our day perishes.
Yeah, I like that. Yeah, cool.
Richard, how do you determine your to-do list?
I try to do two to-do lists. I do one on Sunday. I try to preview my whole week. I see what are my top priorities. I usually number them like whatever's number one, the highest priority. I put that 1, 2, 3. This is not counting like my time for my meditation, which is my prayer in the morning and my exercise. That's all. That's ingrained in talking to my family. I don't have children at this time, but so we're talking to my mother and my best friends. That's all set. That's already set in my schedule. But like my to-do list, I do that on Sundays, and then each night I try to just think about my day ahead, and then see what things I need to do, and I put that in my phone. I use the phone versus to write, but I'm starting to lean back toward writing because I know there's so much more power in writing versus putting things digitally on your phone. Yeah, yeah,
It's easy.
yeah. So. And that's the way I do my day. What about you? What about you, Kenya?
Well, I would say for myself, I'm big with using my phone calendar as well, and I like the fact that I can actually write on mine. So it's tactile for me as if I'm writing in paper. But like both of you said, I first identify what the priorities may be. It could be for the week, for the month, or whatever the time period is. And then I look at what don't I want to do, because that's probably something I need to do first. And then 2, what's going to bring me the biggest return? I had a goal for 2018 that was a pretty big goal that had a lot of intermediate steps. So once I identified what my goal was, I broke it down into a period of time with activities. So let's just say weekly. So I knew, like for Richard in your scenario, on Sundays, I would look at, okay, what needs to happen this week? Who do I need to call? Who do I need to follow up with? And I would place it on a day, and I would schedule it at a certain time. Now, here's something that's crazy. I actually write in the notes sometime, you're a punk if you don't get this done. Because in the moments of planning, I find out I'm more excited about planning. When it comes to executing, I get a
Yeah.
little sluggish. So I have to tell myself stuff so that when I want to be sluggish, I ain't no punk. I'm going to get this done. And that's been working for me to not just plan, but to execute. Setting up that to-do list based upon things that are important to me makes it a little bit easier for me to do because I find value in that. And unfortunately, things that I don't find a lot of value in, I might not even put them on my schedule because I don't want to get stressed. I don't want to get stretched out too thin, and I don't want to do things that I'm not passionate about or that I care about. So that's kind of how my process.
Mhm.
That's good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and it's challenging because the discipline component, and that's why I like this discussion because we can all see things differently, but there's generally a method and a science to achieving. So instead of talking about our different goals, we're talking about how do you go reach your goal. And my example there, I remember, I'm Christian, and I had a Muslim brother and a Jewish brother, and we were sitting down, and a Muslim brother and a Jewish brother started arguing back and forth. And I said, wait a minute, guys, we having lunch, and I don't want stress. It messes with how I digest my food. So I said, look, let's talk about, hey, Muslim brother, you pray faithfully several times throughout the day. Hey, Jewish brother, you're so dogmatic about your diet and about your certain rituals. How do you maintain the discipline? That whole
Yeah.
conversation switched up, and they began to, as well as myself, glean from the process of how a person holds themselves accountable so that they can achieve those goals. And
That's
it was
good.
interesting. And I think that's where I got the call yourself a punk from, because it was the one person said, hey, I tell myself if you don't achieve this, you're not who you say you want to be. And that becomes a drive.
Whoa, I like that.
Yeah, that one pushed me.
Whoa, I'm gonna have to use that
I'm telling you, that one cute. That one pushed me because I just said, okay, well,
one.
wait a minute, because I was looking for something to motivate me. Great ideals are wonderful, but how do you execute and how do you hold yourself accountable? Because we know the journey of the creator is very long most times, and it has a lot of pitfalls in it, but everything works to the good of the end result. And we have to stay motivated because, like you both said, anything that has ever negative, bad happened to you, it turned out to be good for you. And that's
Absolutely.
something we got to keep reminding ourselves of.
Yep. Yep.
That's good. I wrote
So,
that one
hey,
down. I'm using that one.
take it. Hopefully, a listener takes it. Everybody takes it, steal it, and then we're just going to share and get better.
We just don't
Okay.
share it.
Okay.
Oh, man, this is a good time and a great moment for us to segue into the next question. Now, this question, it took a little thought, but we've kind of already talked about it to a degree, but I'm going to ask it specifically once again. What is the importance of doing or prioritizing your day? Why is that so important?
I feel like when I think about when you think about emotion, you think about anger and you think about sadness and you think about all of these different emotions that we have. We can be so productive if we tell it what to do. So if you get angry enough to see these clothes in this corner and you like, I'm just sick of this. And you get so angry that it makes you move. That's the productiveness even of your day. You take your day and you give it something to do. If we don't, again, it's just another day wasted. Another time that we can be doing something we love. And this is how I push myself because, oh my goodness, I can get overwhelmed sometimes. I can be sitting here like, it's so many things to do to the point where I just sit like, okay, all right, Lord, tell me what to do, what to do now. Even if you have a to-do list, that's possible. But when you give those emotions and when you give your day something to do, you won't fail.
Mm-hmm.
It's funny. Dave Ramsey, the money makeover guru, says something similar about telling your money what to do. And some people have said that money is energy Our
It is.
emotions is energy. So it
Mhm.
sounds like that we really have to tap into being proactive and having a mindset, a plan, and an expectation of what should happen today.
Yep.
And be open to
Absolutely.
be led through inspiration as well.
Yes,
Mhm.
that's correct. Give
You
your
know,
energy something to do. Give your time something to do. That's what
you know,
we have control over for the most part. Other
yeah.
than God, of course, having control over our life, we have all the same 24 hours. And so give it something to do.
You know what? You know, everybody out there might think this sounds real hippy dippy, but one of my favorite books is Think and Grow Rich. And in the book Think and Grow Rich, they talk about not only having the discipline, but you got to have the spiritual practice and spiritual discipline to really become successful in life. And so, all because everything is energy, money is
Everything.
energy,
Yes.
success is energy. So you got to be able to cultivate success with money, success with whatever you want in life through both a spiritual and a physical practice and discipline. So, and that's what it really comes down to, like really being able to hone your attentions to get what you want out of life, or to have the vision to go where you need to go in life, to be thankful and grateful so that abundance will come to you easily, to give
Yes.
money, to give to charities, to give to your family and friends that are in need, that are truly in need, not just trying to ask for a handout, but truly in need, because that money will come back to you seven
Oh,
times
yeah.
over. So yeah,
Hundredfold.
so that's what I took away from one of my favorite books, Think and Grow Rich. That it is both a spiritual and a metaphysical and an actual physical practice to become successful in this plane of reality.
Well,
That's
with that
good.
being said, let me interject right there. I started a new practice. My fiance loves going to thrift stores, but what I found out, thrift stores are an excellent place to get a book. So, to our listeners out there, the first person after we post this Facebook Live, the first person to leave a comment, I will send them a copy of Think and Grow
Whoa,
Rich.
you got it. The gold standard. That's
Nice.
the
This is
one.
the gold standard. Look at this one. This is the thick boy here. This is
Yes.
the thick one.
Nice.
So I will send this book to you free of charge for the first person that comments and likes on our post. And this right here is a gift to you because we want to make sure that we're giving you guys something that's going to change your life. Our goal is to be an inspiration for transformation, and we believe that this book is one of the standards. If you're trying to do anything in your life, you got to read this book. This is the standard here. So just want to do a quick commercial.
Okay, cool. Okay, I have one question for you. This is the final question. Um, how do you feel about multitasking? Because I'm gonna be honest with you, I'm kind of bad with multitasking. In this last couple, especially these last couple weeks, I've been trying to say I'm just gonna focus all my energy on doing one thing at a time and see where that takes me. How do you feel about multitasking?
Um, I feel like we're all blessed with different things, different talents, different things that we're good at. And you have to be intentional with focusing in on one thing because I am a poet, a speaker, a author, a mother, uh, I can sing, I can rap, I dance, I can
Oh,
ballroom, I'm a good worker, I'm a good employee, I'm a good employer. So I'm all of these things, but I'm still one person. So I feel like it's important just to be mindful of how far you stretching yourself. And if you stretching yourself is getting you any further, or are you busy doing nothing?
hmm.
Because we can literally be busy and do nothing,
Mhm.
Hmm.
going in circles and have nothing accomplished. And so you have to pull back and observe what it is you're doing and is it getting you to where you're trying to go? Because
Hmm.
I've done that. I'm over here and I'm doing this and I'm doing that. But then I left out the part, the marketing. So then I'm just, I'm not doing it to its full ability. But now I'm over here. Now I'm doing this and I'm doing that. And so now I'm good at this too. So now I'm over here and I'm doing this and I'm doing that. It's not conducive. It's not conducive to rising when we're all over the place, especially if it's not giving you the product or the end goal.
Hmm.
Yeah.
So I think we
Multi
definitely have to be mindful.
Multitasking is one of those weird things that I remember saying on my resume, hey, I'm a great multitasker. But like Q was saying, it feels like a whirlwind. So what I kind of look at doing now is if I'm multitasking, I still try to break my work down into 15-minute segments so I can focus in that minute, in that time period. Because I noticed for myself, it takes about 2 to 3 minutes for my mind to even slow down, focus, and lock in on what I'm doing. But once I hit that stride, then I started the creativity, everything starts to flow. And then at about 15 minutes, that's a good time to break, to move to another activity or to kind of step away and clarify some thoughts and come back at it. And so, but when I'm trying to, have a conversation with somebody, update a spreadsheet, and they got to remember to return a phone call when this is all done, I wasn't present-minded enough to catch some of the subtle nuances of what was going on around me, and I would miss things, and I miss things. So I think that multitasking has a benefit to it, but it has to be structured chaos, because I think you're going to miss out on that focused energy, that focused time, as Q's been saying, for you to download instruction, inspiration, or interpretation of what you're reading or doing.
You got to be a method to the madness.
Yes.
Everybody, a method to the madness.
Yeah.
This indeed is true. Well, that's our wonderful third question. That's our wild card question. You did a fantastic job with you. I told you it wouldn't be that bad, would it, Q?
No.
It wasn't that bad. It wasn't that bad. Well, to our listeners out there, we want to thank you as always for visiting with us. I got some awesome takeaways from our conversation with Miss Q. Just real quick. Q and I met a very long time ago at this really cool spot that used to be on Telegraph in Grand River, and she was always a dynamic person of character. When she says she can sing and rap, she's not joking. I wish I had a record label to sign her to, because now her voice has a message behind it that I know it's an inspiration. But as she stated, set your day up. Start your day out with some kind of prayer, with meditation, getting your attitude right, setting some expectations about your day, then set priorities and a to-do list based upon what's important to you. And if it's really important, schedule it. Put it at a certain time on a certain day that you're going to achieve something, so that when that brain fog or whatever the fire of the day comes into play, you still have a plan for what you need to do, but stay flexible because you don't want to get knocked out the game.
That's true. That's it.
Yeah. I mean, I'm just going to just piggyback on what both you guys said, especially you. I'm going to call you VQ. That's going to be my nickname for you, VQ. But just taking it can only, even if it's 15 minutes in the morning before you start your day, just get your mind right, get your spirit right. You could be prayer, meditation, whatever you want to call it. It could be to Allah, to Jesus, God, Buddha, whoever it may be. But just acknowledge some universal presence and just become one with that presence for just those 5, 10, 15, 45 minutes before you start your day. And always have gratitude in that little moment and in those moments. And I guarantee that your day will be so much better.
It will. Well, Q, thank you for being with us today. To our listeners, our next show is going to be on February 15th. We're going to be visiting with Miss Nicole Jackson, and we're going to be talking about win-win. This show is going to be available on the Infinite Think Facebook page, as well as links on Instagram. Please follow us. Check us out on YouTube for Infinite Think. Like, share, because we're hoping that you see people that look like you. And if we can do it, you can do it too. Have a blessed day.
Yeah, and always be limitless. And also like and share. Like and share, because it means a lot to not only us, but to other people. Spread the knowledge. Be limited.
And watch your words, because your words have life. Life and death is in the power of your words.
And watch your thoughts and in your heart.
Amen.
Get the hate out your heart. With Richard Washington and Antoine Fisher. Get the hate out your heart.
Oh, that's so going to be a meme, Richard.
Get the hate out your heart.
All right. Bye.
Take care. Peace, everyone.